Greetings, family. Greetings. Shalom. How's everybody doing today? Come on in, come on in, come on in. Let's continue on with our discussion here, hitting some of the highlights of the line of Shem and the seed of Judah, the table of contents. Okay? Thanks for showing up. Spending a little bit of time together here and going over some of this information. And again, I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful day here. All right. So let's pick up with where we left off from the previous video. Let's go into chapter 11, 12, and 13. And hopefully we'll have time for 14, 15, 16. If not, we'll do another video on that. Okay. So without any further ado, let's jump into it. So here we go with chapter 11. And this one is entitled Historical Evidentiary Support that Yeshua is the foretold Messiah. Okay. Now we know chapter 10 was talking about how the Hebrew scrolls foretold about the coming Mashiach. And that was dealing a lot of heavy scriptural texts that we'll be going into in the scriptures. But chapter 11 is going to be historical evidentiary support of this information here. All right? So, who is HaMashiach? Who is the Messiah? And was he Yeshua? Now, I personally believe that he is, based on the scriptural evidence that I've read and studied from the Word. And I think you all believe that same thing too. But there are some that are not sure. There are some out there that are still not sure who the Messiah is. And so chapter 11, along with chapter 12, will discuss different historical documents outside the scriptures that is additional evidence. Not that we need additional evidence, friends, because one's faith should be based solely on the Most High's word. Is that not so? That is true. But we know again, there are some historical references dating back to the 1st and 2nd century AD that you can show someone who may not be sure of that. They may be on the fence, not sure who is the Messiah. Is it Yeshua? Or is it someone else that they might have got confused about? Or they may just not believe anything at all, but they want to find out, but they're just not sure. So this information, you'll have this at your fingertips that you can be able to show someone. And again, these are historical references dating back to the 1st and 2nd centuries AD, historical documents and sources outside of the scriptural Hebrew scriptures. And so again, this would be before the 3rd and 4th century when the papacy started coming in and trying to control the canon. So we're talking about before that occurred. So we're talking about the early manuscripts in the 1st and 2nd century. And so we'll be able to show that information. So if you like to research that, you like to explain this to others, you definitely want to go into this. And there's a lot of historical sources that I'm sure some of them that you've heard of. I know that I knew a few of them, but there was a few that I didn't even know about that shows that just ties in with the Hebrew scriptures. Okay? All right, chapter 12 is entitled Christendom's Conspiracy to Enslave Descendants of the Seed. Okay, this one is very, very deep. Yeah, this one here is really going to be delving into the conspiracy between the papacy and Portugal and Spain to activate a slave trade to the Americas. And of course, we know all about that, but there were some things that I didn't know about that I learned. And some source material, some documents, I was amazed at what I things that I hadn't realized before. And so you'll be able to read some of these documents yourself on what was going on between Portugal and the papacy and Spain and the papacy, and how deep it was, this conspiracy to try to start this slave trade, transatlantic slave trade to the Americas. So we're going to be hitting that pretty hard in chapter 12. So I hope you enjoy reading that, definitely. All right. So then let's go on to chapter 13. Chapter 13 is entitled The Real Reason Columbus Took His Third Voyage. All right. So why did Columbus go back a third time to the Americas? What made him go back on that third journey? That's what we're going to be talking about, friends. It's very, very interesting. Some things that I